Jenna, and we are so excited to be talking today with just us.
This is just us. We don't have anybody to introduce today.
I know.
I don't know what to do with myself.
I don't know, for like the first probably 20 episodes we recorded, I think it was just us.
Yeah.
Maybe that's too many. Maybe the first dozen at least.
There were definitely.
It was just us, and we would talk forever. And
We
like
would.
talk for like 45 minutes, and you guys still listened. Thank
And
you.
then people started asking if they could come on the show, and now I kind of wonder if maybe that was just to shut us up.
And
No.
now, since we've partnered with Rogers, we keep ourselves to a wonderful, like, 23, 25 minutes, which is fantastic
Yes.
as well.
Thank you, Rogers, for that.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
We do. But we still have people that are like, hey, we really love it when you guys just, like, talk and just,
Yeah.
talk about life, talk about whatever. So we decided that's what we're going to do for this one.
That's right.
And in particular, we are going to narrow it down a little bit, not just life in general. I'm not planning to rant about anything today. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. She did just get over the flu.
We'll see. But one of the things that's come up a lot lately is more and more people have been reaching out, especially through Instagram DMs, asking about, more business-related things.
Okay.
So, like, what apps do you use? How do you deal with the kids and work? All those kind of things. Because I think more and more people are either doing some kind of side hustle or
Yes.
they're really trying to DIY their own, work things. They're solo entrepreneurs or small businesses that are just trying to keep the budget tight and want to know. They want to know how to do these different things when it comes to marketing, self-promotion, all this different, kind of thing. So we thought we'd kind of dive in, share a few thoughts, and, anytime you guys have questions like that about anything or any topics you want us to talk about, you can find either of us anytime on social media.
Yep.
Send us a message. You can send them through the Pickle Planet website or the Podcast Hub website.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
or through our Facebook pages, too.
Yeah. So the first thing that I wanted to share when I was thinking about this, deciding that we were going to talk about this today, the first thing that popped into my head was a phrase that I've heard a lot over the years, and one person locally who uses it a lot is Angela Harris.
Oh, yes.
Yes, with Work of Heart, which is coming up. Done, not perfect.
Okay.
I think it is super, super powerful if you're a small business entrepreneur, someone trying to get things done, to let yourself be okay with it's done. It does not have to be 100% perfect, the pie in the sky image you had of what your social media image or your website or your podcast or whatever you're going to do. There's so much power in just saying, you know what? I need to get it out there. I need to have it done. You can always go back and polish things. You can
Right.
get better at things. You can improve on things. You can invest money in other people to do things if you really want something perfect that you're having trouble getting it there yourself. But, when I think about like where we started with the podcast and where we are now.
We were done. Not perfect. That's for sure.
Definitely.
And every week we improve.
Well, true.
I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And even still, like sometimes I know some people, when they think about the idea of like, oh, they're going to have a podcast and it's going to be on TV. Well, we need to invest in a set and we need to invest in a backdrop and, we should have some succulents and some gold geometric shapes back here or something.
But we
And
have mugs.
We have mugs and we have black fabric.
Yes.
And sometimes when there's lots of us here, you can see what's behind the fabric.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's not perfect,
It's not.
but it's done.
But exactly, and it's like this is us. I think that an issue that a lot of entrepreneurs have, is that entrepreneurs are perfectionists, and you may not be in certain areas of your life. Like me, let's say for example, my house is not perfect, but I like other things. I like audio to be perfect. I like what social media posts I put out to be perfect, and if I have a typo, I just.
But there's little buttons where you edit and you fix
Yes,
the typo.
Exactly. Or if you
Done.
need to add more information after, then yeah. Save is a wonderful button.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it is. And I think society in general is becoming more and more accepting, more and more. There's a word I'm looking for that's not coming to me.
But I know what you mean. It's and I tell my real is the word. I think anyway. When I am doing podcasts for these other people, I need to keep reminding them that people want to hear you. They don't want to hear the encyclopedia version of what your podcast, for example, is going to be. They want to hear maybe a couple ums and ahs or a couple giggles or whatever. They want to feel like they're in a conversation with you. And I think that is fitting to a lot of other things, not just the audio world that I'm living in right now. I think it fits in a lot of things. People want to know that you're real.
Yes. Yeah. And I think, there's more understanding that we should still have, if you're trying to be a small business, whether that's, you're doing direct sales, multi-level marketing, you've got your own ideas, whatever it is you're doing, I do think there should still be a level of professionalism that you're bringing to everything. Mm-hmm. But it's okay to have those little mistakes and to be okay with them and to fix them if you can, and just to be, it's better to have it done than to be perfect.
Right.
So yeah, that was the big message that was in my head this morning when I was getting a shower, and I was like, what am I going to talk to people about today?
What should we do?
all need to remind ourselves of that, I think, because it's so easy to get caught up in the like, oh, I could have done that better. Yeah, and maybe next time you will.
Right, exactly. Everything is a learning step. There are a lot of things that I have learned from Jenna. That like so much. I was like, when she approached me to do the podcast, there was so much more.
I don't think you've done one yet, right?
I hadn't. No, you're my first podcast. She was my very first one, and there was so much that I've learned because of her. With that, becoming a social media influencer had a lot to do with you pushing me and helping me and teaching me all of these little tricks and trades. And one thing that's coming to mind right now is you always see like on Instagram, the link in bio. And I was like, I don't want to change the link in my bio every single time. And she was like, no, honey, you don't need to do that. There's this cool little thing. And there is this cool little thing called Linktree, right?
There is.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to teach you something new.
We get to learn this all together. Yeah.
Because there's still, as we're recording this, a Linktree link in my Instagram.
Yes.
That is going to disappear sometime soon, as soon as I find the time to sit down and make it better, because someone else showed me and reminded me the other day, all you're doing there is sending your traffic to another site. Why are you sending people somewhere else when you could be directing them to a page on your own website that looks the same and has all the buttons that you want to send them to different links?
Yes.
So,
yes.
I know how to do it. I just have not made the time to do it yet.
So you're just making an extra page on your website that looks
and it's a page that's not, it's hidden in the sense that like it's not, you're not going to come on the homepage of Pickle Planet and see my link page.
Right.
No one cares.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It's a hidden page that you only find it if you're given the link, which will be on the Instagram, because Instagram still only gives you one spot link, to share a link, unless you have over 10,000 followers and you can do the swipe up thing, and that's a whole other story.
That ain't me.
Yeah, there are not. There are some people around who have it, and there are times when it's useful, but for a lot of people, I don't think it matters.
Right.
And if you're someone who's getting into social media and you're worried about it, very few people, I think, that it matters to, especially if you're in the local audience. But anyway, that's a whole other topic.
There's a whole other topic.
But the Linktree thing, it's very easy if you have especially if you have a WordPress website, to create a page with these buttons that you can use in the same way. And the other thing to remember, the reason you do that is if you put a link down in the comments on your Instagram, no one can click that.
Exactly.
It's not clickable. And in fact, some people would tell you that it will actually like push you down in the algorithm. It's not. It's going to work against you. Okay. It's not even like it's just a neutral. It's actually going to work against you if you're trying to put links in there. I'm not 100% sure on that.
That is a whole other world.
Someone out there will probably tell us whether that's true or not.
It's true.
And those change all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
But I like where you're going with that, because then you're driving traffic to your own site as opposed to driving traffic to somebody else's. And traffic is something else that you can speak to more than me, because I had never paid attention to the traffic on my website before. And with my new website, I am just learning to pay attention to it. And I was like, what do you mean this many people go to my website and they click on this, and how did I not know that? But how is that beneficial to someone to know all that information?
I would say there's kind of two main things there. So if you're looking to use the power of your website in another way, So you want to be a social media influencer, or you're trying to convince people to advertise on your site for some reason, that type of thing. You need to know those numbers. You need to know how many people are coming to your site and who they are. You need the demographics. You need to know if they're Canadian or they're American or they're women or how old they are. And you can get all that information from Google Analytics and from tracking your site. The other reason that you want to care about those numbers, if you don't care about that other thing, you're not some kind of influencer, you're not worried about, telling other people who's coming there. You need to know who's coming. You need to know those demographics so you can better serve your audience.
Right.
And you need to know how people are interacting with your site when they come. So most businesses, you're going to have your landing page, and then you're going to have a couple other things, right? You're trying to get them to check out a particular set of services or a course that you're running, or, you've got recipes on your site, whatever it is. You need to know if anyone's going there.
Right.
And then you want to know, oh, okay, when they come here, they seem to always go to this part next. Or people come and then they're out. And they've left within 30 seconds. Your bounce rate is astronomical, because obviously when they come, they're not seeing what they expect to see.
Right.
And so if you're looking at those numbers in the back end, you can start to try to figure out how to improve that, how to get them to stay on your site longer, how to get them to click through in the ways that you want, so they see the different things that you're taking all this time to create. Because that's the thing, if you're taking all the time to create these programs, to create blog posts, whatever it is you're putting out there on your site, if you're not taking any time to check and see if people are using them, why are you spending all that time creating it?
It's so funny how all media relates back. All of this is exactly radio. So, time spent listening is what we call TSL and CUME and all that stuff. It's the exact same thing. And the way we figure out how long you've been listening or how many people listen to us and whatever is what we call ratings. And you get these diaries,
big old book
that they will send you in the mail, and then they'll send you a toonie if you fill it out and send it back. And that's how they get their analytics, compared to this on our websites, where we literally know instantly, instead of on radio where you find out twice a year how many people are doing these exact same things. Yeah. Something needs to change there. CRTC.
I'm just putting that out there. But and that's the thing, with Google Analytics, it's real time, and it's powerful information. And, if you get into it, without getting very deep into it, you can be able to see, what search terms are bringing people to your site. So what is it that people are connecting with or trying to connect with? And are you giving them that, or are they, what can you tweak in the words that you're using, all that kind of stuff. And there are oodles and oodles of people that I have learned fantastic information from to better understand that over the past couple of years. And so every time I can, I try to pass on what I know, but it's only because I've learned it from someone else. And there's other people who are constantly, keeping on top of what these are. And some of those things, they can be terribly scary to go look at.
Oh,
right?
Oh, so many numbers.
Totally overwhelming. But there are lots of really great services out there too that, that's somewhere where if you're a small business owner, whether or not you're running the site yourself, look into investing in someone who can run Google Analytics reports for you, or set them up so that they run automatically and send you a report. You can have that monthly, quarterly, figure out what you think you want to track and how often you want to track it, and have those reports. And you can have it set up that they just show up as a nice, pretty thing that you can read in your email. And you can pay someone to do that, and it's not going to cost you a fortune, and it's money well spent. It's like hiring a really good photographer for your wedding.
True.
Right? When it comes to your wedding and you're trying to figure out where you're going to spend your money, the photographer.
Yes. Isn't that the truth?
Pretty much everything else you can skimp on, in my opinion.
Yes. Yes.
Don't skimp on the photographer.
You want those precious memories forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years now since we got married, and that's still my number one, if anyone's getting photographer.
Yes.
Find a good photographer, invest the money in the photographer.
Yeah.
You can figure out the rest.
And go get married in the field back. But
exactly.
Yeah, but
it's the same
a great
thing
photographer will make it look good. So
yeah. And someone who understands analytics
yes,
can make it look simple for you and help you improve your business by understanding what's going on there.
A friend of mine, Lynn Copa, owns Cyber PR Army, and she is brilliant brilliance. And she worked together with some businesses down in Albert County this past tourism season, so the tourism season of 2019. And it was the first time that they had taken their marketing to the internet. And mind blown, the numbers that they got and the information that they received just by having someone, because they don't have the time. They're so busy down there in tourism season, they don't have the time to do these things. So if you need to hire someone out to do these things, and then they found out so much information about, like, you know, where people are looking, like how many people are coming here from what provinces, and et cetera, and et cetera. Yeah. It's just a totally whole new world to looking at information that is readily available for us if we want it.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's there.
Yeah.
It's there. You just need to know to ask for it. And yeah, it can be overwhelming to like try to figure it out yourself. Mm-hmm. But yeah, money well spent to invest in someone who knows how to do that and set you up properly. I had somewhere else I was going with that.
Well, there are some other ways where you don't have to pay people to do it, right? You learn to do it yourself with these little tips and tricks, and like, let's say scheduling your posts online, which is daunting but so helpful. Like when Jenna pops something up at 6 o'clock in the morning, I know she didn't just do it live.
I'm not up yet.
And I
know some of you are, because I look at my numbers.
Yes, exactly. And then she knows what are good times to post things, right? So I used to use an app called Sendable, which is a decent app. You do pay for it, but you can, especially if you're running a bunch of pages like I do, you can plan all your pages in there and then set them to go at whatever times. But you do it through the back end of Facebook now, don't you?
I do. Mm-hmm. So I've always done Facebook scheduling native on Facebook. I've always used that. A lot of people will tell you that they think the algorithm likes it better if you do it within Facebook itself rather than using a third party.
It makes sense.
I don't know. Yeah. But Facebook always had, well, pretty much has always had, scheduling of posts. Mm-hmm. For a long time, Facebook, you couldn't schedule within a group or within an event, and that's where these third-party things really came in handy and really took off. But Facebook keeps catching up and being like, well, if someone's going to go over there to do it, we're going to make sure you're doing it here.
Yes.
So you can schedule pretty much everything within Facebook now, including Instagram.
Whoa.
So that was the big one for me. So last year, like at the end of 2019, I was finally like, you know what? I now have way more accounts than I know what to do with, and the free version of the Instagram planner I was using was no longer going to cut it because I could only do one account and 10 things in a month.
Yes.
Like, no, I need all of them and all of the things.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to pay for the paid version finally after years of using it and liking it. And then right away, Facebook's like, hey, now you can schedule here. Oh, that was nice.
Of course they did.
So yeah, in the Creator Studio in Facebook, you can now schedule your Instagram posts. For anyone who hasn't played with it, my little bit that I've learned so far, I love that it automatically tags accounts.
That was my question.
Planoly doesn't, which is the one I had been using the most. However, big one for me, spell check doesn't work in there.
Oh.
So you actually have to check your spelling. And if you know me, that is like my greatest weakness.
Says the writer.
I am a terrible speller. I have always been. I always will be. So I rely a lot on spell check.
You need a ghostwriter or a spell checker.
So then it becomes this like, oh, it's almost like a second step. And so is it actually saving me any time to do it in here if I have to write it over here to make sure that my spelling's okay and then move it here so I can tag the things I want.
But yes, I think so.
And you don't, within the Facebook Creator Studio for Instagram, I can't save my groups of hashtags, which I could do in Planoly, which I really love.
Yeah.
Because you can mix those up then and have them saved and not always have to be thinking and searching. And the images, when you're using Creator Studio right now, it doesn't give you, it crops them without telling you it's cropped them to fit the square.
Okay.
So you really have to go in and double check that the image that you thought was square really is the right size square that it's going to show up properly on Instagram.
Okay.
So I've been using it, but I'm still like, okay, maybe it's good that I still paid for Planoly over here this year.
I think I like that because what I do is I post on Instagram and then share to Facebook, and then I jump over to my Facebook and fix the tag because it doesn't go from one to the other, but now I just need to be doing it the opposite way, obviously, if it's going to share the tags. Mm-hmm. Here's something before we have to wrap up. You just mentioned hashtags. They are either the bane of your existence or you love them. I feel there's no happy medium between them. Correct. Yeah. But what is the purpose of a hashtag? Because a lot of people still don't get it, and a lot of people are hashtagging for no reason.
Yeah.
But hashtags really can really help you in your business and your followers if you're using them the right way.
Yes. So I would say think of a hashtag as a search term, right? That is what its true purpose and value is.
Yes.
A lot of people like to make funny ones because they're making jokes, and that's fine if you enjoy it.
Absolutely. They don't all have to be
But
to
the
help you. But
power of them is that it's a search term. So anytime, and some of us, like me, follow certain hashtags because I want to see anytime anyone posts about Moncton. So I follow the hashtag Moncton on Instagram, and those posts show up. And so I find new people to follow. I find out what things are going on. So it's very, very powerful to get your business in front of certain people or to connect with your community. There's a lot of really neat things that you can do with hashtags. It used to be that they didn't do anything on Facebook. Now you can click them on Facebook. I still don't like when I see them there. That's me personally. Just putting it out there.
they look messy.
I think
I
they do.
totally agree with you that they
I
look
don't
messy.
think they work on Facebook. They work in the sense that you can now click them. But
Yes.
I don't think
They're
they
more
serve
of an
a purpose.
Instagram and Twitter kind of
Yes.
thing if you're still using Twitter, which not very many people are unless you're a celebrity.
Celebrities, news junkies, comedians.
Yeah.
There's very specific groups, I think, that are still very active and do well on Twitter. It used to be the place to find community. That's how I met friends when I moved to Moncton.
Right.
Was Twitter, but that's not where it's at anymore.
No, it's definitely not. But it is great if you're looking for content. If you're if you work in radio or anything like that.
Yep.
For me, that's my first thing in the morning. I go right to Twitter, and that's the same thing.
Well,
I search
it's still the
hashtag
most
Moncton.
immediate. It's
right?
still the most like
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why I say like news. When I think news, I mean like radio in the morning for you.
Yep.
Totally, I would be on Twitter.
Yes, 100%. But yeah, is it something that you need to be using? Probably not. I post on there
I see
all
more-
the time. Never get any likes. Never. Jenna occasionally will like things out of
Every now and then
pity.
when I go in,
I think.
no, it's not
yeah.
pity. It's just when I remember to go back into Twitter. So.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And that's the same way I feel about LinkedIn.
Ooh, I'm loving the LinkedIn.
I know
lately,
you've been
though.
doing really good on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I've been following and I've been liking your stuff. LinkedIn is like a business professional's Facebook, if you will,
Yes.
in some
It
way,
should
shape, or form.
Yeah, it should remain more professional.
Yes.
It's a good place to celebrate your business side
Absolutely.
of things. Instagram is more like celebrate your personal side of things, and Facebook is kind of in the middle. I think.
I am 100% with you
So,
on that. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Maybe we'll have a discussion about that another time because we're going to run out of time.
We are going to run out of time. So you can find us on all of our pages.
all those platforms.
All of them. You find
Yeah.
Jenna through Pickle Planet Moncton, of course, and then
Yep.
me through Tosh Taylor, and my new page, which is the Podcast Hub, which is all of the podcasts that I now produce
Which
here
is
in the Moncton
growing a
area.
growing number, which is so fantastic.
It is
and
so
that's a whole
fantastic.
other episode that we're going to do one of these days and just talk about all the other podcasts that you should be listening to that are made here in New Brunswick.
Yeah, so many good ones. In the meantime, if you are listening to us on whatever platform you listen to podcasts, please leave us a review.
Mm-hmm.
We would love that.
If you're watching us on Rogers, just give them a big shout out. If you're watching us on Rogers' YouTube channel, you can always hit subscribe, you can like, you can share, all that great stuff. And yeah, that's it. We do this every week. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.